What is the mood of a particular fan base? Forget about the fringe 10% to either side, but what does the middle 80% feel about their team? We're talking about Texas A&M tonight. Very simple mood, one of the easier moods to dissect in America right now. Flip the switch. That's the mood at Texas A&M. So, I was at church this morning actually, and I listened to the preacher, and he gave a metaphor that was meant in more spiritual means, but I think it also applies here. He said, when power goes out, it's a very interesting thing. When power goes out, it's not that power doesn't exist. It's that for whatever reason, the power's not making it to you right now. It's a big difference to be living in a shack that is not equipped to have electricity delivered to it versus living in a 9-bedroom home, but for whatever reason, power's just not getting to it. Because at that point, someone's just got to flip a switch somewhere and the power comes right back. Texas A&M's the latter. Texas A&M is the 9-bedroom home. Texas A&M has all the light bulbs installed. Texas A&M has everything that possibly needs to be plugged in. They just need the switch flipped. There's a lot of disagreement I get on this, by the way. I am a believer that Texas A&M is a ready-made championship contending program. And obviously Texas A&M folks agree with that. There are many others who disagree with that. And they say that if that was true, they eventually would have won already. If all these magical resources were there, if all the magical boxes were checked, like you say, Josh, then they would have won at some point along the line. You would think so, but that's not necessarily guaranteed if you keep making the wrong hires. And also, as I said last week, and I'll say again, what Texas A&M is as a program right now has not always been. The post-Manziel era has totally morphed and transformed what that program is. So if you're talking about money, if you're talking about access to talent, if you're talking about resource pool, salary pool, facilities, those things that we have been taught that are needed to win at a high level, if they're all there, and I'm an A&M fan, I don't care what anyone else says. That's fine. It's all the more fun to be doubted, but someone's got to flip the switch for us. So hopefully that was the hiring of Mike Elko, is the point. Jimbo's out. Mike Elko's in. We know him at Texas A&M already, so he's not an unknown commodity, and he went and sharpened his coaching teeth for a couple of years at Duke and started to do big things over there. So we've got a little proof of performance as a head coach. He comes back here. One of my first questions actually wouldn't even be football related. It would be connectivity. It would be, does he have what Jimbo lacked? Talking to some people around the program more and more, they'll tell you that among some of the issues they thought Jimbo had, one of the key issues was there wasn't like a connectivity between him and his team. Jimbo, and this is not according to him, this is according to people who observed him around the program, they would tell you Jimbo looked at team building as let's go acquire the talent, put them on the roster, there's my team. And that's not all there is to that. That's not even the way Kirby Smart does it. That's not the way Nick Saban did it. That's not the way Ryan Day does it. That's not the way Dabo's done it at Clemson. You get the players, yeah, and hopefully you eval them and they fit your critical traits and factors. But once you get them there, that's just a roster. That's all it is. That's not a team. And when you play other teams that do have that mortar between the figurative bricks that are football players and you don't have it, that's why you crumble under the weight of them. So I wonder if Texas A&M, if I'm a Texas A&M fan especially, I wonder what the first tangible signs will be one way or the other as to whether we've got something with Elko now that lacked under Jimbo Fisher. Because I got to tell you, even as late as 2024, although I believe Texas A&M long should have broken through this, they are still college football's sleeping giant. That program is still college football's sleeping giant. There is no better example of a program capable of everything, achieving everything in this sport that hasn't yet than Texas A&M. Tennessee is not that. Tennessee has won a national championship in my lifetime. Just because they've been dormant recently, it's not even close to comparable. A&M's never been what they're capable of being. So either I'm wrong, and I'm not. This is not my transfer portal prediction. I promise you I'm right on this. They've got everything it takes to win. They just haven't. So either I'm wrong on that, or I'm right on it, and we got to wait and see if Elko's the guy to flip the switch.